beloved Reverend David is having the appearance of, we'll leave that question mark. But we know he is in perfect health. And we all touch and agree with that and speak that word. So today, I'm going to speak on gratitude. Gratitude for spiritual law. The spiritual law that I know for myself. And then I will give an example of my own true experience. So I'm going to read something from the Science of Mind magazine. And it says, in this invisible law of unfoldment, we must come to trust. And although we do not see the way, we must believe and know that the way is and is cooperative. We must trust the invisible, for it is the sole cause of that which is visible. So, my use of the law blesses my life tremendously. I am grateful for the law and my understanding of how to use it. So, I've been on this journey, I guess, since I was about 26, 27, in unity movement. So I was always using this, but as I got more mature in life, I came into religious science in the teachings of science of the mind, and it made it even stronger. So I don't even trust. I know that when I speak the word, when I have the thought, and I speak that word, that it is going to manifest without a shadow of a doubt. So I've had so many experiences in my life pertaining to that knowing, just going in and stepping into that I desire to have in my life and just watching it manifest. You see, you have to put that seed there and let it nurture, and then just watch it manifest. Because it's there waiting for you to align yourself with that which is true for you. If you do not believe it and you're not really into it, it is not happening for you. You have to trust it. You have to lean into it. You have to know that it's for you and not for anyone else. So my experience was a car, going to get a BMW with no money, looking at the pictures, printing them out and putting them on my vision board, and then telling my wife, let's go look at this car. I had 3 of them, so I went and I looked at one, the first one. And the man said, oh, why don't we go see what we can do? I said, I don't have any money. He said, well, why don't you test drive it? So I test drove the car. It was over. And so I drove away with this car with only giving this man $100. $100. Because I had already known that this car was for me because I had placed myself in it. You know? And so the same thing happened with a house. And the same thing happened Saturday with my wife's car, getting her car fixed. And I put it in the shop, knowing that everything was going to be all right. You know, I'm the type of guy that I go and start the moving. I started going because I know it's going to happen. And it's not going to happen if you don't start it. You know, so I put the car in the shop, and then the man called me and said, and gave me the price. I said, oh, man. I said, okay, God. I said, my brother, let me just think about this over the weekend so I can just meditate on this. So I meditated on it before I went to bed Friday night. And I asked questions. And Saturday morning, I woke up, and the answers were right there. So I got up and got on the phone, and the car's going to be fixed. because it's already in the shop. I know it's a done deal. It's done. Because when you trust into that knowing that you know that you know that you know, it happens. So I guess my 10 minutes is about up. Those are my life experiences. So I just lean into that knowingness, and I just walk that walk. I just walk there. I just don't listen to anyone else. I listen to the Spirit within me that says, yes, you can. Yes, you are. Yes, yes, yes. Just have the thought, and have that creative process going constantly, and just practice the presence of God all around you all the time. Because everyone is God in human form. And all angels speak to you. Listen. Thank you.
Good morning. Y'all don't know who the world I am, do you? Let's see, is this yours? This your little book? You're taking up my 10 minutes. My name is Reverend Carol Anderson, and I am retired Science of Mind minister, active today, and still competent. So, as I keep telling my son. I have some things I want to say this morning, and 10 minutes is not nearly long enough, but I'll try. I wanted to share something that I've always said from the Bible: in all things, give thanks. And I knew that was from the Bible, but I didn't know where, so I looked it up last night. Whoever knew there was a 1 Thessalonians? But that's where it is in 5:18. But anyway, that's where it is. But I wanted to share what my greatest gratitude is for, and it's for this center. It's for this teaching. I came into this teaching 34 years ago in this church when it was on Peachtree Street downtown in Midtown. And I came under duress and out of desperation. Can anybody relate? Okay, I'm good company. I had a friend, as always, I had a friend who had been coming for quite a while, and he kept inviting me to come. It's not like church. It's not like anything you've experienced before, because I came out of Presbyterian, And so Paul kept telling me, you've got to come. This is for you. I know it's for you. One morning, and I kept turning him down. One morning, he finally popped into my house on 4th Street in Midtown. He says, get dressed. Today is the day. You are going. Okay. I said, I'll get dressed, but I'm not going. I'll get in the car, but I'm not going. So we pulled up in front of the church. He let me out, and I stood there and thought, well, if I break for it, I could probably get home before he gets in the auditorium. I didn't do that. Went inside, sat down on the 7th row from the front on the right-hand side of seats. There was along the side, and big ones in the middle, wide aisles. And so we sat down. I crossed my legs. I folded my arms. And I said, first time this guy says God, I'm out. He said, well, you'll have to come through me to get there. So I said, well, maybe I'll stay. So as Dr. Kennedy Schultz came onto the stage was up high, for those of you who all never attended there. I thought he was a giant. And I sat there and I listened, first with my eyes closed, then I was looking at the floor, and then I realized my legs had just uncrossed, and my arms were beginning to unfold, and my head, I looked like a bobblehead doll. And I thought, dang, I'm not the only one who believes this. Can anybody else relate to that? I'm not the only one who has always believed this since the first moment I was aware that I could think. And I was just astounded that 435 other people in the room thought the same thing. I was home. By gosh, I was home. And it was the most amazing experience I ever had until another Sunday, which I went back every other Sunday after that. And I was still in that place where I didn't know where I was spiritually, you know. And so Dr. Schultz was again speaking. He said 10 words that, somebody tell me when it's 10 because I can't see this clock up here. He said 10 words that I was so frantic to find a pen so I could write it down so I didn't forget it. 10 words. I was afraid to forget 10 words. And so I was able to write it down. I was also concerned he wasn't going to repeat it that day. And so I did get it written down, and I realized this is the beginning of the rest of my life. And those 10 words were, you are a perfect idea in the mind of God. And I thought, really? Me? And he said it again. He repeated it several times. You are a perfect idea in the mind of God. And that's when I knew that all the beseeching and begging and bartering that I had done in the Presbyterian Church to have my prayers answered wasn't the way. So I began to use that as my mantra. I am a perfect idea in the mind of God. So I want you all to say that with me. I am a perfect idea in the mind of God. I am a perfect idea in the mind of God. Now turn to the person next to you on either side and say, you are a perfect idea in the mind of God. I think we just raised the vibration in this place. What do you think? Was that good? I am so grateful for this teaching. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you because I started coming here. I retired in 2013. I moved to LJ, Georgia, and I've been in retreat there for 5 years, more or less. And so when I heard that Dr. David was coming here, and please call him Dr. David instead of just Reverend David. When I heard he was coming, I signed up as a pledger. I renewed my membership in this place so that I could vote. And I've been coming back ever since, but it's a long way to LJ. So I'm gonna shut it down now, and as I said, I'm really grateful for everybody. I'm so grateful for Dr. David. I've known him for a long time, and he's just, we couldn't have hit the jackpot any bigger, let me tell you, right? But before I go, I want to say this about Dr. David, that he is in full and total alignment with the divine pattern of perfect health, and this is what I know. And so it is. So it is.
I can't see any of you really. I would say this, let us remember the axiom before I speak that everything truly is working for our good, including my talk. Normally I'm a person who plans things rather well, and I thought today I'm not writing anything, I'm just going to talk about how grateful I am. I'm grateful for so many things, and I'll tell you one of the things I'm grateful for most. And it is this, hearing Dr. Kennedy Schultz swish out onto the stage, and I do mean swish, saying as he whipped the curtains back at Woodruff Art Center, such is the nature of life that all it wants and all it asks is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I. That's powerful. But I'll start even further back from that. I'm glad to have been born in Louisiana. I am glad to have been the product of my parents, although my mother thought she was misunderstood when she asked for a little tyke. Truly. I am glad to have graduated from LSU because at the end I was not studying so much, and thank God I passed ichthyology. I'm not joking. It would have been another semester. I'm grateful for the things that came up in my life, for the people I have met. I am grateful for moving to Atlanta, for having been married to my former husband. I am grateful for the houses I've owned. They have each been a part of my heart. I am grateful for getting divorced and leaving something that was finished. It was a relationship that had done its time. I'm grateful for making my peace with my former husband. I'm not so grateful for his second wife who told him not to see me, but that's the way it is. And if everything's working for the greater, then that is too. I am grateful for having come to Georgia, for having the experiences that I've had, for meeting the people I met, and for the person who first brought me to Atlanta Church of Religious Science. I understood it was a church of psychics, and I couldn't wait to go see what was happening. I am grateful that I was skeptical enough to corner Dr. Kennedy Schultz, who was not pleased, and say, what about I'm the way, the life, truth, and no God, coming to the Father except by me? And he looked at me and said, I'm not doing that here. He did. And I started taking classes. I got tired of Georgia State telling me to take one more class to get a second master's, so I quit. And I started taking classes at the church. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for the things that happened along the way. I'm grateful for having gotten my practitioner's license and my minister's license. And I'm grateful that just before moving to Maui to take a church that I was diagnosed with cancer. I am not grateful particularly for having had cancer, but I am certainly grateful for the diagnosis. It probably saved my life. As someone said to me, if you have cancer, I don't stand a chance. You meditate, you eat organically. I've been hacked off, and I changed that word, since they outlawed Quaaludes. I was told this. I'm grateful for the people that supported me. I'm grateful for moving to Maui, and I'm grateful, really grateful for moving back. And I am so grateful for the people who gave me constructive criticism along the way and the things I learned from it. I am grateful for what I learned in this teaching that led me to understand I could have a bigger life. I was brought up as a miserable sinner and an abomination in the eyes of God, according to my parents, for being gay. They did the best they could with what they had, but I was a real challenge for them, and that's not a joke. I am grateful for learning that there is something bigger and better out there, that there is a power for good in this universe and we can use it. I am grateful for having learned to do that, from starting off with parking places to I got the last parking place in the Atlanta airport one time, and I was going to miss a flight to New York, and I got the last parking place and I made it. Such is the nature of life. I am grateful for learning that I could manifest things. I manifested greater love, greater acceptance, greater generosity, and I am so grateful to have released the anger that I held in me for some things that happened, because I was a very angry person when I got here. I'm not anymore. I have a wonderful home with a wonderful spouse and two of the cutest dogs that ever lived, Henry and Oliver. This is my ideal. I have a life that I imagined. I don't have to work. I have money coming in. I have two wire fox terriers who are like having two little toddlers that want you all the time. They do, and it is so much fun. I'm grateful for my health. I am grateful to still be here because so many people that started on journeys with me are no longer. And that's kind of, it tears at me sometimes. But I'm grateful for having had that experience. I'm grateful for having a body. I'm grateful for learning that I can manifest what I need, including once when I said I need some money because I don't like living on Maui. Let me pray about this. And I said I consciously reprogram my subconscious on all levels to produce with ease, joy, and clarity a sum of money that I have not imagined before. 5 days later, I came back to Maui, checked my bank account, and there was an extra $23,000 in it. I said, "Ooh, Lord." And you know what I said also? That I'm not going to say next time I choose to do that, those Hawaiian schools are bad. They got to find this and take it back. And so they did. But I said, you better give me the interest on it. And they did. I am grateful for the love I have in my life. I am grateful for this teaching, for every person I ever disagreed with. In some way, it's been better. I am grateful for Ken Schultz and all the times I argued with him because I learned so much and irritated him probably a whole lot. I'm grateful for Paul Gagne, for David Alt. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given, and I'm grateful for this church, and I am so thrilled every time I see a light come on in someone and they realize they got it. So I have a lot to be grateful for. There are things that I don't particularly like that are going on that I would change, but I know that I have to go into me. When I'm seeing it out in the world, where is it in me? And I do not like that. It's not fun to think that I have that within me, but I know I have that within me that creates the reality that I'm seeing. So I go to the place that creates the reality. And every one of you in here can do it because I have a PhD in sometimes being a very bad example. Trust me, I don't invite people from my past to speak about me. I'm not joking. There's some really unflattering things that could be said. And some of you are here. But the fact of the matter is, in a family that was deeply divided over things, I have my cousins back. I have one that I had not seen for 40 years. We are close now. I am so grateful to have her back. We grew up as sisters. I just came back from St. Martin last night with another cousin. That is a blessing because I always envisioned myself one day, this little flash of me going up Moreland Avenue, and I don't know why this car, but a brown convertible Triumph, I believe it was. Alfa Romeo convertible, that's what it was. And with a suitcase in the back coming from the airport, go, ooh, that was fun. And you know, I've traveled. I'm grateful for going to England, Scotland, Ireland, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, France, Germany, Italy, Greece, Spain, Iceland. You know, and this is what it's all about, is manifesting things. It's about states of consciousness. And when we align ourselves with those states of consciousness, everything changes. It does. And so I want to tell you that if I can do this, anyone can do it. As Jesus the Christ said, that which I have done, you can do this and more. I am grateful for this place because I can tell you there's not a whole lot like this in the world. But we are here and we have the opportunity to create a revolution, the likes of which the world has never seen. The waves in the ocean, except for where it's very shallow at the shore, actually come from nuclear reactions in the sun, 93 million miles away. They come from the bottom and rise up, even when there's no wind. I believe we are creating a spiritual revolution, the likes of which, I will say again, have never been seen, and it is rising up intrinsically from us. And it is expressing. And that the chaos we see in the world is a chaos that manifests as we are rising up to emerge at a greater level. It can look very chaotic, but know that that everything is truly working for us. This is a wonderful life, and let us not forget those who it's so not wonderful for. It's easy when you have to say, oh, it's so good. This life is wonderful. Let us remember that we were told, as we call it, treat and move our feet to make things better. For those of us around us, for those of us in pain, let us have compassion. Om Mani Padme Om. Let us have compassion for the pain of the world, for the love that we have and the love that we bring. Thank you very much.